Hey everyone, welcome back to 6 days of holiday DIYs. Today we are going to make 3 very different light displays. I hope that you enjoy and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the rest. The first thing we're going to be working on is our shadow box. You'll need a shadow box, a chalk marker, a piece of black cardstock, and a piece of white sketch paper, a pencil, and you want to make sure you have one with an eraser, and a pair of scissors. The first thing we're going to do is line the back piece of our shadow box up with the corners of our black and our white paper, trace the edges, and then again for both pieces of paper we are going to cut out the square that we created. On the white paper we're going to make a sketch, and this is what's going to be on the front of our shadow box. If you aren't confident in your handwriting or your ability to make a little sketch, just get on your computer and use like Word or something like that to create something with some fonts that you like, and then you can just trace your fonts. So we're going to put our sketch inside our shadow box against the glass, and then we're just going to trace over that. Super simple. And we're just going to be doing the outlines. If you have anything to fill in, skip that and leave it for later because it's kind of hard to see the white on white, and later we're going to be working on black to fill it in. So we're going to be using clear adhesive dots to tape our black square onto the back of our shadow box. All you have to do is press the dot roll against the paper all the way around the perimeter and then place it on the back of the shadow box. Make sure you get all the edges really well, and if there's any overhang you can just trim it right off. And then we are going to place the back underneath our glass again back in place so that we can see our writing better, and we're going to go ahead and fill everything in our sketch. So now we're ready to place our lights. We are going to put our battery operated lights in the back of the shadow box. And make sure you get the kind for this project that has the wire. It doesn't have the plastic covering on the string, to make sure that it fits in the shadow box. And then this close up the back and you are done with this project. Our next light display is just going to be a simple one. You need a vase, a decorative plate, and then of course your battery operated lights. And for this project I'm going to be arranging just basic Christmas ornaments. I recommend using things that you already have around the house. That's what I did. I used kind of recycled ornaments from last year. You can make any updates that you want to. Like I had these pears and they were gold, but I spray painted them pink to make them match this year a little bit. But basically you're just going to start putting some objects in your vase and then layer the lights throughout it. You can get these little pine cones at your craft store. The acorns are from the park, and you want to make sure that you layer larger objects and smaller objects because it gives your arrangement more dimension. And if you did like all large objects, there would be a lot of empty space, so those smaller items are going to give your arrangement more interest, and they're also going to help fill in the blank spaces in your arrangement. So yeah, I just recommend using things that you already have. You could use little ornaments, you could use candy canes, any kind of Christmassy filler item that you have for vases. Those would all be great options. And we're just going to layer our lights throughout, put our decorative plate on top, and flip it over. I like how there's a lot of excess space, but you could also fill it up. And I sprayed some faux snow on top, and that's an optional step, and there is our finished display. For our gingerbread house light display, we are going to need graham crackers, a cutting board, and a serrated knife, as well as a hot glue gun. I've put the shapes that we're going to be creating. You're going to need 2 of each shape in the top corner. I'm using the dots on the graham cracker as a guide, and I'm going to lightly cut into the graham cracker at first to create a line for myself. so I know what I'm doing. And then I'm going to be sawing. You want to make sure that you saw to not break the cookie. And then since we need 2 pieces, I always just use the former cracker that I created to create my guides on the second piece. Since this is the front piece, we're going to need a triangle top. Again, I'm using the dot as a guide. And then when I cut a piece off of the side, I'm going to flip that over and use it on the other side to create the perfect triangle top. And just go ahead and create a guide and saw that off. And then for our sides, we just want a tall rectangle. So I'm going to line up the height with the base of where the triangle starts on the first piece that we created. So drawing a line at the top as well as at the side to create the right width that we want for the side. And then again, just creating my guides and sawing those off. Then we need to create our roof, which we want to be as wide as the side, plus about 1 centimeter extra on each side to cover the space for the graham cracker and a little bit of overhang. So then we're going to be gluing them together, and this part is self-explanatory. You glue the sides to the front and the back, and then you add the roof. You're going to be using hot glue, so make sure that you work quickly. And the other really important thing is to line up the bottoms really well so that the gingerbread house sits right. You also want to make sure that you line up the sides of the roof so the overlaying are about the same. So now I'm going to spray paint mine white. That's an optional step. And you're going to use royal icing to fill in all the places where you glued and do any extra decorating that you want. You can decorate your gingerbread house any way that pleases you to match your decor. And I'm going to link a video right here in a card to a royal icing video so you know how to make that. So with a number 3 Wilton tip, I have my royal icing in a piping bag, and I'm showing you how to create the roof. We're just going to create these little hump shapes and then add some rhinestones. These are the same ones I used for my DIY skull, so I'm doing a little bit of recycling. For the top of the roof, we're going to fill it in with a lot of extra icing, and then I'm just going to add some pearls. So we have a super kind of chic, glam, white on white gingerbread house. And then I just put my gingerbread house in a lantern on top of a food container lid to give it some height. I added a little fake tree, and I put my lights in the top. You can use tape to get them in there with the lights hanging out of the back of the doors. Make sure you subscribe so you can catch the rest of 6 days of DIYs. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you next time.